Well, hey guys, I hope you guys are all doing good. So today I wanted to talk about eating a low inflammation diet. So I have Crohn's disease and it is basically like your body is very, can be very inflamed, right? Um and it's a lot about, learning how to reduce your body's inflammation and prevent your body from getting more inflamed is definitely what I've found. I think the best way to go about things is sticking to a diet that's low in inflammatory, foods. So for me, that's mainly doing a carnivore diet and making sure that I'm very much cooking with healthy oils, whether that's avocado oil or coconut oil or olive oil or animal fats. Basically just no seed oils and no processed, really trying to my best to avoid processed foods, because processed foods definitely cause my inflammation to go up. Same with the seed oils as well. And it's tough because when you eat out, they're always cooking in seed oils. Yeah. So even if you're eating something healthier, let's say, and it's maybe like Asian food where it's like rice and like some meat and stuff, you can still kind of be affected. So yeah, for me, like trying my best to stick to that carnivore diet on a proper streak of like ideally at least a week has been very helpful. Like last week, I think I did about 5 days in a row of sticking to my carnivore diet, and it worked out very well. I did experiment having a bit of sauerkraut, but I did notice it kind of sent me to the washroom. I still think my digestive system's still in a bit of a state where it's, kind of sensitive. So I think in the meantime, for me, doing strict carnivore is what's best for me. I've been taking a bit of supplements like L-glutamine as well and some collagen, which has also been helpful. But yeah, so yeah, number one, I would say keep the inflammatory causing things out of your diet. So basically, mainly processed food, seed oils, keeping your carbs low. For me, my only snack I really have is like a bit of dark chocolate during the day. I try to avoid, high sugar foods or snacks. I haven't been having any fruit even. Although if your gut's in a better state, you probably could handle it better. But for me also, I have this skin issue called Hidradenitis suppurativa, which is a mouthful, or HS. And basically it gets worse when I'm having foods with a lot of carbs in it. So basically if I'm eating stuff with like a lot of sugar, it makes it worse. It can make it painful. Like basically I have these spots that will get kind of painful. And yeah, so eating the low inflammation diet has also helped with reducing that issue, which is one of the main issues I'm trying to fix. That and my gut. And the carnivore diet has also been helping, my gut to be getting better too. Yeah, and I think it's mainly about being dedicated, to your diet. That's really going to help you see success. I was eating out a little bit too much before, and it was causing me to not really be making any progress. And I was just kind of like running in the same spot on a treadmill. You're not really going anywhere. Like you'd be up a little bit and then down again, and then up again and then down again. So yeah, staying on the diet as much as possible. It's good. And yeah, because keeping the inflammatory foods out of your diet is way more effective than trying to reduce your inflammation while eating inflammatory foods, if that makes sense. Like supplements do help with reducing inflammation. Like for me, I take turmeric and fish oil and some magnesium at the end of the day as well. But those only help so much, that like if I eat something that is inflammatory, I'll still feel that inflammation effects even if I'm taking those supplements. It might be a bit better, but let's say if I'm not eating those foods at all, then I might not even have to take those supplements and I'll still feel okay because I don't have any inflammation causing chemicals in my body. So yeah, on top of course avoiding processed foods and seed oils, I'm avoiding like gluten and bread or like gluten and dairy, since those also seem to bother me. Eating more of a keto carnivore style diet where it's just very low sugar and very low carbs has been great. Really, really helpful. Yeah, and I think, the carnivore diet has really been like the best answer for me personally. Cuz every time I've been to the GI doctors, they just want to marry me to what are those biologic medications, and I had been on those medications for around like 10 years or so, but I just was really I got tired of it, and I wanted to figure it out without medication. And I knew, it's possible to be healthy without it. I think now that I've been off of it for a long time, I know now that the issue is with the Western diets. It's all these cheap chemical ingredients that are being used, whether that's for cooking the food or being put in the food for extra flavor. Things like emulsifiers and preservatives and all these oils. All of these oils. You find seed oils in practically everything in the supermarket when it comes to those packaged goods. It's just ridiculous. And finding stuff that's clean is so tough. You have to read the label so carefully. And honestly, eating healthy here when you have, especially if you have a severe gut issue like Crohn's disease, is such a nightmare. And it's no wonder why so many people here have all these health issues, and why our medical system is overloaded. Because we're feeding people all this poisonous junk, that's only made to line the pockets of corporations, not for the sake of making people actually healthy and fixing their problems. Um, all of it goes to corporations, whether that's these cheap ingredients in the foods, or people being reliant on medication, being married to medication. That's not a proper solution, in my opinion. And it frustrates the hell out of me, which is why I have this channel and I'm discussing all this stuff, and I am doing this self-experiment with myself. Even though it was a bit risky getting off of the medication, I think in the end it's worth it, because I'm taking these strides forward, and I can hopefully give you guys some good ideas, whether you're on medication or not. And for me, it felt like the right step. It felt like something I really wanted to do, to be brave and to really take charge of my own health, instead of feeling like, I'm at the whim of doctors all the time. Even though the doctors are helpful, but they just seem to be experts in medication only. They are definitely not experts in nutrition. And even the nutritionists I talked to weren't as helpful. I think they were still giving me some stuff that would affect me now if I was eating what they were recommending before. Maybe I would need to talk to like a naturopath or something, but whatever. For me, yeah, carnivore is working out well enough for me for now. And doing these supplements and taking L-glutamine, it's all helping towards the goal. And well, right now I am stuck a little bit more at home, just because I do have to run to the bathroom sometimes. I know that over time, as I stick to this diet and I try my best to be strict with it, I should get more freedom, and I'll be able to go around more and have more fun, and not be so tied to the washroom. And it just kind of sucks, because I feel like I got to this situation because, growing up, I was on a lot of antibiotics, whether that was for keeping me from getting sick, or also for the Crohn's disease, like with the HS I had. You could call them abscesses. It's also related. I was having all these carbs, and I was taking these antibiotics to avoid, having abscesses. But the thing is, I could have just eaten a keto or a low carb diet or a carnivore diet and not had those abscesses in the first place. And the doctors didn't tell me that. This whole meat is bad thing is so frustrating, when they don't say anything bad about eating all this processed food, and they don't say anything bad about sugar and carbs and all these other ingredients that negatively affect people. Yeah, it's sad. Anyways, it's, I'm just happy that I've gotten to a point where I'm taking charge of my own health, and I'm thankful for the internet for having, all these helpful voices on here sharing what to eat, to be healthy, whether that's channels like Dr. Berg or Dr. Dr. Ken Berry or Paul Saladino or Dr. Gundry, like all these channels that are focused on better health and gut health and, carnivore diets. And it's great. I think years ago, before I did all this research, I would never have tried carnivore. I probably would have thought you were insane for eating that diet. I did actually at one point. I thought people were insane for eating this diet. And now, I can't really see myself eating any other way because of how helpful it's been, because of how little pain I have now, and how I'm on a good path. Whereas before I was just on medication, and while I felt decent on the medication, it sucked having to go for medication every couple months and be on it for potentially the rest of your life. And you have to get all these needles and, you have this stuff pumping through your veins with the infusions. And it's just, looking back now, even though it helps your gut health, I don't know how healthy it is for you in the long run, this stuff. And charting my own path has really helped me really learn a lot about my own body, because it is also quite an individual thing too. What works and what doesn't work, especially depending on the state of your gut and the state of your gut microbiome. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like I could talk about this stuff forever, and I'll definitely need to make more videos. Yeah, I hope that you guys are all doing good on your health journeys. And yeah, because I know like IBD is not a fun thing, like inflammatory bowel disease. And it's something that is not to be taken lightly, and if you're not on medication, you do have to be very careful with what you're eating. So for those of you that don't want to be married to medication, I salute you, because it's a tough road to walk. But I think in the end, it'll be more rewarding once I get more healed up and I have more freedom. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and you guys can click up here to check out my recent video. All right. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later.